What's going on, guys? Aiden Smith with the Paint Your Path podcast. We got Joel Mercado in the house.
What up? What up?
What's going on, bro?
Not much, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. I love that shirt.
Ah, yeah.
That's a good
I
shirt.
I always forget what I'm wearing because I'll just go to the gym and just leave it on.
It's funny. Dude, I rock your shirt to the gym all the time. The Mercado shirt.
Yeah, man.
That's a great shirt.
Do you get people to stop you to read the quote or anything like that?
Nah, just straight up,
Oh,
just
okay.
wear it and just proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I tell people it adds to your workout lately. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, it adds something to your workout."
Yeah, exactly. It makes you like want to actually live through it, like the 1% better every day.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's
A little
pretty
bit of
dope.
motivation.
Yeah,
It's good,
man. It's
man.
awesome.
Last few pods, we've been doing some different stuff. I
Hmm.
love that we're kind of going into real time coaching almost,
Yeah.
like assessing people's profiles and stuff. I think that's something that people don't get enough of, you know, like
Hmm.
poking holes in what they have unless they're like with us, right? So for people to come on and see, okay, maybe I'm doing those same mistakes is really important, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been good. I would love to talk about content a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been
Let's
in my
do it.
content bag. I made a pretty good video today. I felt good about it. Took me way more takes than I'd like to admit, but yeah, it is what it is.
That's what it takes, though.
Yeah. You've been really consistent with content too, so I'm
Yeah.
excited to kind of dive deeper into this. What's like your overall strategy, not with your personal and your coaching, but like painting business wise? Like, what do you guys in all of your businesses? Maybe shed some
Yeah.
light on that.
I know it sounds weird. I actually don't focus so much on the painting anymore in terms of the social media, even though I've got someone different. So in Phoenix, my partner, his wife actually is the one that's been doing it. So like we'll do like before and afters, and she's been really awesome using CapCut, which
Mm-hmm.
is an app that she uses a lot. So she'll do, the color of the month, or she'll show like the Sherwin Williams card next to the house with the stuff,
That's
animations
fire.
and stuff like that. Yeah. And we've noticed like we actually would look at trends and see what would get us more views. And we noticed that when guys are actually applying the paint, like the spraying or brush and
Yes.
rolling, you get a lot more views. And customers have actually requested to see our processes more. So we've noticed that in Phoenix. San Diego, I know it sounds weird. We've been around for so long that we kind of just don't even pay attention. We just once in a while slap it together. I have an in-house marketing agency that does
Yeah.
all of our marketing. So they just kind of throw out there whatever they want when they feel like it. If we put more effort in it, I know it would be a big deal. However, my personal brand, that's where I'm really focused on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. That's interesting, right? Because I have the same thought process on my ads perform better with the guys that actually paint,
Yes.
just the reality of it. Like people like to see and it vibes with them and they can kind of see what you do ahead of time, right? And I tell people too, like if you're going to do content, you need to be all in or, you
Hmm.
know, it's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're relying on it as a main form of generating business. Like the guy we assessed last week, one of the guys, he does high quality videos and he doesn't spend any money on marketing, right? Because he went all in on that and he's
Yep.
doing it at a level where people kind of are noticing and picking up, and he's look at more like he's more high value,
Yeah.
overall.
That makes sense. And like you said, though, I think it's important that if that is your primary income, you should invest in that with
Mm-hmm.
today's digital world for sure.
Yeah, a lot of small businesses, like if you're just scrolling through like Instagram or TikToks, you'll see them just hopping on trends. It'll be like a local like nail salon, and they
Yep.
just hop on like a local or a trending audio and make a video.
Yeah,
That's good
absolutely.
though.
Oh, dude, and what's cool is like people laugh at that. They start to want to now watch more of your content
Yeah,
and follow. So I think that's important.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then like I know that you are having your business in Phoenix. Yeah, like you personally may not like. Obviously, you understand the game, and but you're also delegating that to somebody else. right? Somebody's that's more passionate about it. Am I
Uh,
right by saying that?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, they're doing it. So like the production manager knows they have to take before and after photos and
Mm,
videos, and then we upload that to a Google Drive. And then, like I told you, right now, really, it's my partner's wife. She's been taking that information, and then she goes to CapCut and re-edits it, and she's been uploading it. But there is a process, right? Like the guys know every job we start, we use company cam, but then we also take those photos and go to a Google Drive specifically uploaded. And then you have the videos uploaded to Google Drive, and then she takes it, extracts it from there.
mm,
That way she doesn't have to be at the job sites, right?
yeah.
Um, so we've put a strong emphasis in the last like 6 months. You'll start to notice like a trend in the Instagram. Like when we started doing it, I'd say about 6 months ago, we really started focusing on, hey, let's get all this internal stuff pumping
Yeah.
and just put out content. And it really just helped with the Facebook advertisement,
Mm-hmm.
um, kind of like a gallery too, right? Like where people can start feeling like, hey, there's a gallery of colors, because Arizona's kind of dry, so it's almost the same color everywhere. But
Yeah.
it gives them ideas and makes them feel better about our process. So
Yeah, like that tan color. I see
yeah,
all the time
so
out there.
dry.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. Yeah, dude, I love that you brought that up with the company cam because that's a little system that people overlook.
Hmm.
You know, like if your guys are on the job, they're already there. Just emphasize making a little bit more effort to take some
Hmm.
decent photos, some
Yeah.
decent videos, right? That we could use because now you're setting up the next person who has to deal with the social media and post, right? So you don't have to spend their time going out and it's like you have two people in one place.
Yeah.
That's the efficiencies that really can add up if you look at every little thing in the business and improve across the boards that people don't think about.
100%.
Mm,
Like you said, though, you're already there. Like,
yeah.
why waste time?
Take a couple extra seconds. You're helping out everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why one of our core values is teamwork because everybody across the board needs to be on the same team, right? Our
Hmm.
clients, me, the painters, right? Our sales rep the other day, she's having a client that is a little picky with the colors, and they already did the color consultation, and she does
Mm.
that as well because she gets paid extra for that. But the lady's like, hey, I really think you need to come back out. And she's like newer in our business. So she's like, hey, I'm going to head back over there. And I'm like, no, you're not. Unless she pays for an extra session, you're not going anywhere. Like you already
Yeah.
spent enough time with her and gave her, she's a professional at it too. It's not like she's just going over to talk. And
Right.
I told her, I said, we operate in fairness. And for us to go over for free is not fair. Right. So
Yeah.
if she can't get it, figured out over text and whatnot, have her call me and I'll explain. Simple as that.
Wow. Dude, that's huge though, man. Cause like imagine that her taking that on and what that does too, like
Yep.
mentally, and then also just her holding on to that and you not knowing that she's just doing all this extra work for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like that says something. So that's something important to pay attention to as well.
Yeah. And it just goes back to your guys being there, right? Like, hey, you're
Hmm.
already there. Like, don't make anybody else's job a little bit harder because you're taking a lazy approach to one facet of the job,
100%. I love that.
Yeah. But dude, you know what? I got humbled because content is hard. Like, I made a commitment. I mean, I know I've been decent with content lately, but I want to be more locked in. I want to be more
Yeah.
innovative. I want to continue because I honestly, like, we're both in it, so we know the
Hmm.
content economy, I guess that's what you call it nowadays, is still in its infancy, in my opinion. People
Bro,
are
thank
picking up
you.
the
Thank
people
you.
are picking up the camera every single day. I see new faces, new trends, and just hopping on. No followers. They're just
Hmm.
like, fuck it, I can do this too. You know?
Hmm. Hmm. Brother, I love that you mentioned that because here's some things that people don't know that I took up years ago. Like, I don't know if you can Google when Instagram came out, but when Instagram first came out, I still had my martial arts school. This was in Mesa, Arizona.
Mm.
And Facebook really wasn't pushing like Facebook advertisement. So what I would do is like video all of the kids that we would teach doing like all these kicks and like cool stuff like drills. And I built my business off of free Facebook advertisement doing videos on my business page
Mm.
without any paid ads. I was doing that in 2011, dude. Right. I caught on to that back then. Then Instagram came out and I created a public relations business, not knowing a lick of anything. And I was like, dude, this thing's going to be a huge thing. So I created a business called Grat Rock Productions because I was in the whole law of attraction. And it was called the Gratitude Rock. I was like, oh, this is super cool. Dude, I got to meet like awesome local artists that were up and coming to become famous. I got to meet movie stars. I got to meet awesome musicians. And I was charging like $199 a month just to promote them on my Instagram. Like when
Damn.
Instagram came out. So the fact that you said that, remember what I just said? That was in 2011 when I used Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 2013 maybe. Is that correct? I don't know if you found it, if Instagram came out.
2010.
Like 2010. So it didn't become big until like, I want to say 12 or 13, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when I started really using it. I was like, man, there's another platform that's underutilized. Let me get on the trend. And back then it was just a post, a photo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You
And
didn't have to do anything.
yeah, it didn't do much, but people were like liking it and they wanted to see that photo. Like, where are you at now? What are you doing? It's evolved. But this is the thing I think a lot of people underutilize. And I love that we're talking about this topic because, guys, it is free. Like, yes, you can do paid ads. You can boost ads. You can boost posts. But gosh, man, like you're already on it. Let's not lie, right? Like you're already on it scrolling. You might as well be on it making money and build your business and your brand.
So true. So true. There's a trend right now where every time you open TikTok, you have to make a video, right? Like creators that are looking to take it seriously.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's making them like, okay, I want to be the creator, not the observer, right? Because you spend time just going through it. And it's like, if you just cook up some stuff on yourself, come up with original ideas, you could be the innovator and not the kind of copycat that can only reach a certain level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm all in on content. I mean, just today, I had a guy, my old friend, call me up and he said, hey, I'm training for a half marathon. And he's been an athlete his whole life. But nobody knows that about him in public, right? Because he doesn't have any like awards. So he does have awards, but like, you know, not in top leagues or anything. But he's an athlete. And he reached out and he goes, Aiden, you know, you're the content guy. I want to kind of get your, you know, brainstorming on this. What do you think I should do? And I'm like, okay, how far are you out? He goes 18 weeks. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing every day? He's like, well, Monday I'm doing push pull. Tuesday I'm doing cardio. And he kind of went through his whole regimen. And I said, this is what you're going to do. Every week, you're going to put in your notes. Week 1, 1 video. Week 2, 1 video, right? Of just what you're doing. Outline it.
Yep.
But I said, you need to act as the authority. Because if I'm just watching Joe Schmo get ready for a half marathon, I don't really care. But I said, you need to, in the beginning of every video, assert yourself as a lifetime athlete. Because that's what you are, right? Like, even if you don't see yourself like that, all of our friends are like, yo, James is the guy, like the best at everything, you know, natural sport guy. So I'm like, every single video you start, you got to say, week 1 of training for a half marathon as a lifetime athlete. And then whatever you're doing. And people are going to buy in. And by week 12, week 13, you're going to have a following, bro. And I was like, every week you do that and then make 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 videos, kind of just like testing things in the process, right? Like just raw stuff. But like if you keep consistent with that, bro, that's like your start.
I love that. But I love how you said authority because people don't see what you do outside of it, right? And like, yeah, you may not have thousands of followers, which doesn't even matter nowadays. But it's those that are really watching you know exactly that you know what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden with that consistency, things start to blow up. So I think a lot of people try to blow up versus try to just do the process and let it do its thing. Because it's going to take its time and come when it comes, you know?
Yeah. And like, even, you know, what you think about yourself and what you've done and your accomplishments, other people value more than you even may know. Right? Like me and you, we could talk for days about our past, what we've done, building businesses, working with people, what we've done for other people. But if we don't put it out there and let people know what we're doing, it's irrelevant. Somebody else is going to tell your story for you where there's not going to be any story. So why not be your best marketer, your biggest fan, right? And then let people make the decision if they want to follow you or not.
I love that you said that, man. Because here's the thing, dude. Like, have I ever told you the story when I was at an airport and someone literally stopped me in my tracks? I've never met them, never talked to them. This was like 5 years ago. And I was just consistent on Instagram, just putting motivational speeches and quotes on there.
Wow.
The guy said, "Dude, thank you so much." He's like, "I follow you," and I was like, "What?"
Mm.
Like it was so odd. It was a weird moment for me, but like people are watching, and you don't know
Hmm.
what you're doing that can really help them.
Yeah.
Um, and like you said, you're gonna get people to buy in. Just the other day, someone posted something on. They reshared my motivational, like, "Hey, motivation is just temporary."
Yeah.
Right. And I talk about how motivation is a temporary feeling, but inspiration is what's going to get you to the finish line. And they said they've never seen that perspective. So, when you were actually sharing, even when we're in the painting world right now, as you know, like, what about something as simple as a product or
Hmm.
as simple as a process that you do differently than most painting companies in your
Hmm.
area? That could be the selling point of why they chose you, because they
Yeah.
said, wow, I've seen 3 other companies and you stood out the most for me. And then you're the same person online that you are now giving the
Yeah.
estimate. So, it's definitely underutilized 100%.
Mm. Yeah. It's funny that you said that too, because you don't have to put out those videos, right? Those
Right?
motivational videos. You're doing
No.
it because it's something you're passionate about. You've been through things that you're speaking on, and you know that if you put it out there and whatever helped you or maybe guided you at that time, it could reach somebody else when they're there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And timing is crazy. What people go through is crazy. And there's not enough positive support out there, right?
Facts.
Like, so you're doing such a good thing that you don't have to do, right? And
Hmm.
you're coming from a place of, I've been there, I've done it, I can feel you. It's not illegitimate. You're not just doing it for clout or anything like that. It's coming from somebody that's really been through it,
Oh,
you know,
100.
and that
100.
matters. So, like you said, right, you can't just jump to try and, oh, hop on the bandwagon, right? It's like there has to be something behind it. You got to come with
Hmm.
some authority, you know? That's
100%.
so interesting. Yeah, I've been really in my content bag. Like even the back end of like organizing it all, that's
Hmm.
been something that's just progressing, right? Like I'm at the point now where I just upload videos into my Dropbox as I get them, and then somebody like my VA just puts them into certain folders. It'll be like
Yeah.
Aiden at the gym, Aiden talking to clients, Aiden with painters. So
That's
she can
awesome.
go back anytime she edits videos and just pull from different folders.
I
It's
love
pretty
that, dude.
cool.
And then you can check into it and see that the library of that too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
anybody ever wanted to step in and or I hired an agency or something, hand it over and they're like, holy shit, it's all
Mm,
there. you
damn,
know?
dude. I never thought of it that way though, because you're right. Like they could just totally take over and it's all
Yeah.
organized already.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you're like, okay, like me, I'm very optimistic about what the content is going to be in the next few years. So I'm like, okay, I need to be ready
Hmm.
and executing at the same time, right?
Yep.
Put it out there. It'll continue to get better. More more people, right, in my sphere will look at me as somebody that they can say, okay, what advice can you give me for content, And that's
Hmm.
that's a good skill to have actually nowadays. A really good skill.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Originality, right?
Dude, I love that you're bringing these topics up because it's like, again, anyone that's listening right now or watching, like, it's not too late. Like,
Oh
there's
no.
people who are just now starting and they're in their space. They're becoming authority very quickly because not a lot of people are still not doing it. Like,
Yeah.
especially painting companies. Like, come on, like when you guys get on the train of it, watch what happens to your business. I'm telling you, it's going to. I just said it to myself. I barely do it.
Mm.
Like I do it on my personal brand, but if I hopped on, really legitimately spent the time for my San Diego painting company, dude, it would blow. It would just be stupid. I
Yeah.
just haven't done it. So I know it's going to require me more time.
yeah.
So,
Well, perception is reality too, right? One of the things that if you work with me, it's like mandatory that you get professional headshots done and team
mm,
photos, right?
I love that.
Because I want you to be seen as the premium guy. So when we get more leads and you go on these estimates, you have the best chance to be successful,
Yeah.
right? I don't want you to worry about your sales process. I don't want you to worry about your marketing. I don't want you to worry about your estimating. I don't want you to worry about your guides because you already vetted them. I want you to be there, be present with the client, give the best service possible, and come to a conclusion and seal the deal.
Yeah.
All the other things, I want you to have no reason to why you lost that deal,
I
right?
love that. Wow.
It's like if I can support all the other things that you do in your painting business and how you do it and make it so it's the highest level possible, you should be able to succeed more than the next guy just by default.
Mm-hmm. Wow, dude. You guys heard it. You guys heard it. Not, but here's the thing, and I want to highlight this because, like, and this is real talk, right? Like, I'm just being
Yeah.
honest. Like, not that I don't care about my company, I do. I care about my people and the company. I just prioritize certain things that I know
Sure.
I need to put myself in. So the fact that like I don't even pay attention to that, like headshots and stuff, like I want people to hear that, like because I know certain people when they talk to me, like, "Oh, Joel, you have it all figured out." I'm like, dude, I have so many things I still need to
Yeah.
do that I just haven't done it out of just pure, just not paid attention to it. And Aiden is literally telling you guys, hey, and like, how long have you had Florida already? Like,
It's our first full year in business.
yeah, watch in 3 years what that's going to look like because you're already doing all the things that people will do eventually. You're
Yeah.
doing it right now, like the headshots and making sure you're professionalizing now. You're not waiting. Whereas I waited and I still wait, right? Because I focus on other things. But these things that you're saying are super important. They're very crucial. They're super important. I think a lot of companies don't talk about this. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're highlighting it because I'm going to take responsibility in my own business that I don't even do that. Right. So it's like, imagine if I did. So, man, that's huge. I think that's a good highlight to talk about. It's important.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's things you need to do at a high level because the rest of it isn't there either yet, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, even for me, you can only achieve so much in the first 7 months of a company, right? So it's
Right.
like I still got some lifting to do on the production side, right? Across the board, there's a bunch of different things. So I'm hoping though that I bring in professionals and high level players that can help
Mm-hmm.
me, right? And when I
Mm-hmm.
do give them the X's and O's and able to delegate these things, they can do it at a high level, and then that will eventually catch up. So it's like there's ways to progress everywhere.
Love that.
Um, but dude, yeah, just like anytime I can get content, dude. I mean, I'm just in my head thinking like I think in videos nowadays. It's weird. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm here. I know I can get this video. I brought this uniform because I can swap out and do this type of video. Like that's the type of time I'm on because I have
Yeah.
a simple equation and it's more content equals more success, right? Very
Yeah.
simple. It's very straightforward. Anybody can follow that. And it's not about, yes, you can put out the volume, but also like think about ahead of time what you're going to do because the more
Mm-hmm.
thought you put in ahead of time, the better the content will be, and the
Yeah.
easier it will be to take that next step and gain a following, generate money from it. Right? Like the other day, my son loves making shorts, right? YouTube shorts. He
Nice.
does like a filter, and he's like, just I don't know, I can't even describe it. It's so all over the place. It's like brain rot. But I was like, Jace, why don't you think about what you're gonna do before you do it? So the other day we're walking and he's like, Dad, what if I prank this guy? And he just went through this whole skit in his head. And I'm like, all right, at least
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
something.
He's got a prank channel, dude.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome. I
that's
love
what
it.
he watches, man. He just watches like all these like YouTubers and streamers. There's a couple of good ones. They're actually pretty funny though.
Yeah.
These guys
Yeah.
are good. If it's too brain rotty, I'll be like, Jace, you gotta turn this
Yeah. Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
It's
I
fun,
love
man.
it.
Raising a kid nowadays, you got to watch out. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there.
I only can imagine, man. That's wild stuff. So
Yeah.
the access they got and everything.
Oh yeah.
So,
Cool
but
thing is
what
though.
if you got so good at content that a kid went to the parent and said, "You should hire this painting company"?
That'd be good.
Right? What could we do to be creative in content to capture kids? Because you know how kids are. Once they get an idea on something in their
Mm-hmm.
mind, they keep going. So like maybe we should do a kid challenge content for
Dude,
painting companies, something like that.
my son wants to be a streamer. He wants me to buy him a PC, and I'm like,
Oh
save up a
wow.
little more in that piggy bank, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
But
cut the
nah,
lawn, baby.
yeah, we'll do something.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
it takes a lot to like do a whole streaming setup and all that. I'm like, we're gonna do it, but let's take it one
That's
step at a
cool.
time. Like my wife, she came with me today, and got content for me. I remember because we're talking about getting the camera and stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it, and we're doing it. but I'm like, dude, this iPhone is actually really good. You know,
Dude,
it's
100%. Yeah.
crazy. Like we're looking at it, and I'm just like, dude, should we even go through all of the extra headaches to like learn that curve and stuff, or should we just have an editor put some fire shit together after you record it, and it'll make your life so much easier.
With the iPhone, dude, it's never ending, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is super sick. So like I bought a camera, right? And it overheats. And like these are things that I'm
Yes.
learning. And
You
I'm
need
like,
different
dude,
lenses. It's a lot.
yeah, man. Like the iPhone never fails me. Most of my content you see online right now, if it's not a video like this,
Yeah.
it's like a self, like me talking specifically, that was recorded on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose because like my webcam, I would say not webcam, but my regular camera is like a Sony A7. I
Mm-hmm.
spent thousands of dollars thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't even
Nope,
know how to set it up.
bro, it sits in my bag, dude. In fact, if you're watching, that bag right there is my travel bag.
Yo,
It's getting in
damn.
there, my man.
Yeah. No, we just actually did a fire video outside of a Sherwin. I'll release it soon.
Nice.
It's good.
Oh, I
But
can't
she
wait.
recorded it, dude, and I was like, this is money. Like we don't need anything more. I just need you to come
Mhm.
with me and we'll cook it up.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Dude, do you guys I kind of nerd out on certain things like this, but if you put 4K 60 frames per second
Yeah.
and then just get the I was looking for mine, but you know those little tripods that you can just put on your
Yeah.
desk, like a stick that it turns into a stick.
Or a gimbal.
Um Kind of like a gimbal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um if you do it with the 60 frames per second, not
Mm-hmm.
holding the phone because it still shakes a little bit, but if you're just holding the handle, it's crisp. Like the
Really.
movement and everything,
Mm-hmm.
the way it records, it is crisp.
Yeah.
And these are things that I had to learn the hard way by just practicing and trial and error.
Dude, you know what I've looked up to heavy? You need an iPhone nowadays.
100%.
You need an iPhone. You can't use an Android because I go back and forth with people and they tell me, well, Android camera, look at the Samsung, it has 20,000 megapixels. But in reality, because there's so many different types of Androids, and this is something I just found out, the social media platforms don't optimize for all the different phones.
Mm-hmm.
So they are literally screen recording you recording the video. It's not directly from the phone and the
What?
quality. That's why it looks like shit.
No way, dude.
I swear. I swear.
Wow.
And if you stream, right, like live, it's one thing, but if you just upload your content, it's a recording of the recording.
Oh, the recording. What? I
I
didn't know
swear.
that, dude. Wow. Well,
That's crazy.
iPhone, Apple, we'll take your sponsorship anytime you
Yeah.
like.
I know, dude. I literally when I get a green text or I see somebody upload a video from a Samsung, I'm just like, oh, it
Yeah.
stresses me out.
Yeah.
And
I'm
not even gonna say no offense. All offense to everybody with an Android.
Yeah. I'm with you, dude.
Sorry.
I'll just say, my son switched to the one that folds. I forget what it's called, the Z Fold or something. Dude, it lasted him like 4 months. He's like, nah, man, I'm going back to iPhone. We ended
Yeah.
up getting an iPhone because it's like,
God bless.
yeah, man. And then like he's a videographer, so it's like, dude, like use the stuff that's tech savvy for you, and it's all housed in one thing, and you can
Yeah.
go to your iPad, to your iPhone. Like it just simplify your life, man. And like
Yeah.
with all what we do, it's like super important to have that accessibility. So I'm an Apple fan for life, for real.
Me too.
Yeah.
And they just came out with the new or like announced the new Oakley glasses. You seen them?
Yeah, I did.
The smart ones.
Yeah, those are
So
sick,
any
dude.
painter out there, man, that's looking to
Mhm.
record, I mean, how easy is that? To be able to
Mhm.
roll walls, cut in front, right? That's instant content.
You could not even that, use that for training purposes and like upload
Mhm.
like a private library and be like, hey, this is how I want you to roll out walls. This is how I want
Wow.
you to spray. This is how I want you to cut. Like, dude, trust me, I'm trying to be innovative with all the new tech. I'm like, ooh, how can I use that for increasing the businesses and stuff? So I agree with you, man.
Yeah, I
So,
thought about getting the regular Ray-Bans that look like glasses
Mhm.
and then doing like sales, with them on so you
That'd
can
be sick.
record. But it's one of those things like you're also recording somebody without the permission. And it's
Yeah.
like you get into that weird territory. But definitely recording at least like the voice recording of your sales is crucial. Like
Mhm.
I've done that many times.
100%, man. Well, it's
Just for
good for
myself
practice.
too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good for practice. Pay attention to what you've said, and see what you can do, you can work on. So I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how many times, kind of like back to the content, how many times, not even just painting business, but how many times have somebody saw your content and decided to work with you?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Many a
A lot
times.
of times, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
many a
like
times.
it's one of those things. Give yourself the best success, like the best opportunity for success.
Yeah, and don't worry about perfection either, right? Like
Hmm.
people like progress, man. Like when people see the progress of where I was to now, how it's edited and all that. In fact, I know it sounds wild. I actually read a research that they're saying people aren't even paying attention to that anymore. Like if it's too edited, they don't even care for
Oh
that anymore.
yeah, yeah. You
They're
can
just
out
like,
edit yourself.
yeah, yeah, like slap it out there, put some
Hmm.
captions, and be good to go, dude.
Yeah.
And like people's attention now, it's so short. Like
Hmm.
just get their attention, grab the attention, but don't worry about being perfect, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm to the point now, I've been thinking about switching my content. Like I've been
Hmm.
thinking about just like F it. Like I'm just gonna video myself like a selfie style and just say what I have to say, put it
Hmm.
out there and see what the views look like. Because like, yeah, it looks good, but
Hmm.
you know, I don't know. It's like the message
I'm
still the
with you.
message.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. Like,
Yeah.
I actually had a conversation with my editor. My VA is one of my editors, but I was like, hey, like, just dumb it down, simplify
Yeah.
it, don't go crazy. You know,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
I review food right on TikTok. I
Which
do
I've
the
been
edits
watching now.
myself. Yeah, I
My
do the
wife
edits
and I are watching
myself.
it.
I'm like, this is not super crazy. I'm not that good at this stuff. I do simple cuts, a little bit of some music over certain parts, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
What I
works.
do like though that you've been doing, don't get it twisted. I'm watching you, man. It is the edit of like the split of a screen. Like they say when you can, I think it's like an interruption almost,
Hmm.
like where it's not just watching for too long, but it dices it and like
Hmm.
makes a quick switch. They're saying that helps people's attention on your videos. So I caught on to that. I was like, oh, hey, okay, let's go, dude.
I got a few tricks up my sleeve, bro.
I
I've been
see
doing this.
you.
You too, man. You know this stuff. That's why you caught on. Other people just like look at the video and they're like, "Oh, yeah, it was cool," but they don't realize there's nuance to what we're doing.
Hmm.
Like there's
Hmm.
small cues, small things. Even that first 3 seconds, you got to get right.
Oh,
That's the
100%.
sauce right there. If you can
Yep.
take anything in the world from what we say on this podcast, the first 3 seconds are the most important in your entire video.
100%.
I mean, think about when you're scrolling. Sometimes I'm just like this, or if you can
Yep.
see my thumb, it's just me going through. If I don't relate in the first even 2 seconds, I'm probably scrolling.
Yep. Same. And
Yeah.
I'm a very visual guy. That's what's kind of funny. I like to still keep my visuals up, but like, I'm kind of like if it doesn't catch me visually or audio, because like I like beats. When I used to listen to music, I didn't even care about the lyrics. I just listened
Yeah.
to the beats. So people were like, "Oh yeah, this such song because of this song and this." And I'm like, I don't even know what the song says. I just think the
Mm-hmm.
beat is dope because once it came in,
Mm-hmm.
it always caught my attention as a young kid. So I'm still the same way when it comes to videos. If you're visually not catching me, I won't pay attention to it.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of different types of people out there.
there is. Yep. And what about like when you see people's content in the same space, right? Because I get a lot of people with that limited mindset of, oh, here's another person in my space that I got to compete with, right? Oh, here's another person making this kind of content. He's stealing
Mm.
my stuff and how I do it. What's your
Mm.
take on that?
Well, that's a good one because I have two polar opposites in the same thing, right? So, like, I would say if you're the trendsetter of it, then it's a compliment to what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. B, if someone's ripping it because they're not as um, original or they don't know what to do, then I start to go, like, what are you trying to do, right? But at the end of the day, like I've played that game in my mind. I'm like, oh man, so and so is in my space doing the same type of work I'm doing. I, your mind plays tricks on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to remember, like people do things differently, even if they're doing the same thing, right? And when you open up your mind with more of an abundance mentality, it's like, I'll never be like Aiden. I might adopt Aiden things and I might like certain things that Aiden does, but I'm still never going to be like Aiden. no different than Aiden being like Joel or anybody else, right? And I think when you change that, it really makes you, like for me, for instance, I have been seeing that a lot lately, and I'm like, all right, cool. That actually makes me become more creative. And now I want to change what I'm doing so that I can become more creative. So I look at that as now it's almost making me think more and not be so complacent, and it's focusing on how do I make myself different. So I thank people for that, because now it's pushing me out of my comfort zone again.
Yep.
And that's like a lethal weapon when you can do that to people like Aiden and I. Like, push us. This is what I know we have in common. Push us, watch what happens.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be like, okay, let's go.
I'm in full agreement with that. That was a
Yeah.
great assessment, because I think Alex also had a really good speech at PaintCon when he said, "You're only going to be the second best version of who you're imitating." Sorry.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so Alex basically, he was going through and he was saying, make up shit. Come up
yeah.
with your own shit, right? Be innovative, because whoever you're trying to copy or be like, you're only going to be the second best version of that person.
Oh,
And that
yeah.
hit me hard, man.
You're so right, dude.
Because I look up to a
Oh.
lot of guys, right? Like, you got to look at the Hermozis out there. Dude, I
Mhm.
remember, like, when I was younger, Mark Cuban, I was like, dude, this guy, he's so witty. He knows his shit. He's on top of his numbers. He can make decisions very quickly and, like, feel so confident about it. And you just thought, damn, he made all the sense in the world, when he
Yeah.
went through, like, his Shark Tank analysis. I'm just like, damn. So, like, those are the types of guys that I looked at, and I was like, all right, cool. I can take some of the things that they're doing because they relate to me. I'm bought into who they are and how they go about it, but that
Hmm.
can't be me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I have to figure out what I like, what my, thought process is. And sure, I can take some, just the way they think and how they go about it, but I need to be me in everything I'm doing. Like, even recently, right? One of my guys, Karsten, he was like, "Hey, bro, I really think," because I'm seeing all these ads for different coaches and programs, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Aiden, I went with you because of you." He was like,
Yes.
I bought you, bro. Like, obviously that turned out great and all, but at the end of the day, you need to be more innovative and put yourself more out there so
Hmm.
people can connect and make that decision, right?
Facts.
You can pitch the best offer in the world and the best program, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, if I don't like the person I'm working with, it's going to be hard for me to really lock in every time I meet with you or the team or whatever.
Yes.
So I'm like, damn, that's crazy, right? Like, I need to put myself more out there because my days are interesting. I need to give myself credit for that. I'm going out building a painting business. I'm going out building a coaching business. I'm spending time with my family. I'm being this ultra Superman throughout the days and weeks. And you can relate, I know, because of how busy you are. And I don't think that it's that crazy to do. Like, I'm not thinking that I'm thinking other people can do this, but in reality, that's not the case.
Yeah, bro. It's wild, right? It's oh, you weren't on my call. I had an MVP call last week. So this
Mm.
is like triggering me in a good way, right? My son was on the call for the first time ever.
Oh,
So like everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen that side of you, Joel." Like, he got me to cry. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? And I got comments, and I looked at that as a compliment, and comments too, where people were like, "I thought you were like a machine. I didn't
mm,
realize you had feelings." I'm like, really, dude? Like, I come off like that to you? And it's interesting what people have as a perception of you. So when they get to see other sides of you, what does that do, right? It opens the doors, it opens the mind for them to be like, oh, wow, like, I perceive him as such, but he's just like me,
yep.
right? Like, isn't that wild?
Mm,
And dude, I've been around some pretty great people, and I'm like, there's nothing special about you, man. You just work your ass off and you figured it out, and you really honed in this one craft, and that's what makes you look like a superpower. But really, it's just being focused, being consistent, and doing it day in and day out. So I love the fact that you're bringing that up, because when people see that too, especially for painters, like, guys, like, painting isn't that difficult. Running
yeah.
a painting company isn't either. You just complicate it. And we're hoping that we can solidify that through our podcast, also by bringing guests, also by
Yep.
showing you we're always just being honest, right, Aiden? Like, we
Mm-hmm.
just say it how it is, and this is what we're going through, and this is what we're doing. So
Yeah.
it's not that hard. So, the simplicity of it is just keeping it simple, be consistent, But listen to what you said. You're like, man, I do all these things day to day, not even realizing people don't even know or even amount to that sometimes because they don't see it,
Yeah.
right? And you think it's normal. You're like, yeah, that's my normal day to day life. Where some people, it's like, that's overwhelming. But why? Why is it overwhelming? Right? And I think it's because they're not seeing those things and it shuts their mind down. So I love that you brought these topics up because it's like, and you know me, dude, I can start when it comes to the mind, I get crazy.
Yeah. And also one thing that I've noticed about the guys you work with, and it's so important, right? They are so much happier in the way they're portraying themselves. And I think it's really just tapping into their highest form, right?
Mm,
Like
mm,
like I look at the Damians of the world or the Georgies or like just these guys that I
yeah,
know they struggled with certain things, whether it be the painting business,
yeah.
habits, whatever it was. But when they hop on and are talking to people, conversations, the calls, content, biggest smiles, you
Oh man,
know?
yeah,
And you get caught up in that, right? But I know that's the person you are and you're instilling that in them, and then comes with the success and all that kind of stuff. It just kind of all culminates and it's cool to see,
yeah.
right? And then it's like taking a page out of your book because every single video you put out, there's passion behind everything you're doing. You're
100%.
enjoying it and you can tell.
I
Even
love
when we're talking about topics where you're like, I'm not really bought into that. The tone goes down. You're kind of like,
it.
that's okay,
Yeah, yeah. I love how you pick up on that, dude.
Well, you need to, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's important and it's cool because I get to be somebody that takes note of that. Not a lot of people see these cues, right?
Mm, mm,
But when you are aware of that, you can take some of that. Because
yeah.
even for my content, I realized I was going through so many scripts and so many like takes, but I wasn't smiling when I was doing it. I wasn't being me. I wasn't letting people know that there's passion in what I'm doing and I'm just, you know what I mean?
You're
I
just
was
doing
like,
it. Yeah,
yeah, I'm just doing it,
yeah.
going through the motions. I'm like, shit, if I just was me, people would probably fucking relate more.
100%, dude. That's why, like, here's the cool part. I want to give a cue to people because, like, some of my stuff is scripted in terms
Yeah.
of like
It
some
has
of
to
my
be in a
content.
sense, right?
Yeah, but I correct the script every time because my team tries to bring a script. I'm like, nope, that's not gonna work.
Hmm.
And they'll be like, what do you mean? I'm like, because I never did that. Like I forget, this was like months ago. There was a script that said I made X amount of dollars and this and that. And I was like, no, that's incorrect. I'm not going to say that.
Hmm.
So, it's really important to stick to what you believe in, even when you're writing these scripts. Cause yeah, when you're doing content, the scripts help because
Hmm.
you got to do a hook, you got to do a call to action, depending on what you're trying to do. There is scripts and the most successful people online space right now are doing these scripts. And but some of them, I feel like the raw ones, like when we do interviews with me, I'm like, don't script it. Just ask me
Hmm.
your questions. Do you want to prepare for it, Joel? Absolutely not. I want it to be its own authentic way. It's raw. Even if I
Yeah.
have a blooper, don't care. If I stutter, don't care. Um, I think that's important. And I love
Hmm.
the fact that you're saying that because people see that, they feel that.
Hmm.
And as a coach, you got to be. So we're in the coach field, right?
Hmm.
As a coach, hopefully other coaches that are listening to this, you have to understand people want to emulate what you're doing. It's why they look for mentorship. They're emulating you. And then they're going to grab the good stuff and get rid of the things they don't care about. And then they're going to instill it with themselves and create themselves within you.
Hmm.
And your message is what's going to bring your community and your people in. And then those that you aren't coaches, you're still leaders, right? So guess what? When you're doing posts online and talking about your painting company, your process, who do you think's watching you?
Hmm.
People that want to work for another painting company, people that want to hire another painting company. They're resonating with your personality and what you stand by and what your belief systems. So you can get great candidates by them seeing, oh man, look, they got company wrapped vehicles. They're all wearing their whites. I want to be a part of that company. I love how the owner is always happy. He looks like he enjoys what he does. That looks like something that I would want to be a part of.
Yes.
So I think that's another aspect of content that a lot of painting companies aren't paying attention to that will attract
Yeah.
those type of people for their organization.
And how
So
many
that's
times do
important.
you see, oh, I'm not great in front of cameras, or people say, you know what, content thing's not really me.
I still say the same about me.
That's funny.
Serious. I
That's
still say
funny.
like I dude, literally, I hate doing it.
Mm.
That's the funny part. If I could be on an island with just people, no phone, no distractions, no videos, no cameras, nothing, just connection. That would be my ideal dream,
Damn.
where I just talk to people all day and just enjoy the moments. All the things that I do now, I don't enjoy them at all. I just know I got to be a part of it to get the message out. It's the only reason why I do it.
Mm.
So, anyone that's dealing with that internal dialogue, understand, like, I'm sure, Aiden, I'm sure there's certain things that excite you, but I'm
Yeah.
sure there's certain things that you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing that today.
Sure.
But when you're on video, it looks too easy. When you're on video, it looks like, oh, Aiden probably woke up this morning excited about doing that. Probably not. You know what I mean? So just being real.
Yeah. I mean, look, the reality of it is when I first started, and you can look back at my content, super stiff, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Took me a lot of takes. I've gotten better. It still takes me a good amount of takes, but I've gotten better. I have a teleprompter in front of me. I have a teleprompter app. Like I had a bunch of different stuff that I tried, right?
Yeah.
The reality is when I first started, because you got to think too, yes, I was in corporate. Yes, I was talking to people for a living doing sales, but content was new when I first started, right? Getting
Yeah.
in front, making the videos and figuring out what to say, how to look, everything. It was so new that I would literally have to drink in order to film content. I would need to get some type of alcohol with me to calm my
Yeah.
nerves because I would take 20 takes and I'd be so flustered that I'd be like, babe, go get me a something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That was the reality of what I dealt with when I first started making content.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but there's a reason why he did that. That could be another separate conversation.
I believe it, bro. I'm just being real. Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
here for because I know there's people that deal with shit, and it's like if
Mm-hmm.
we're not legit in what we're trying to say and bring it to the table, people aren't
Facts.
gonna vibe with it. You know?
Yeah, and that's a whole nother realm which I'd love to talk about one day. A lot. Actually, I'll utilize this today. I actually just finished my certification in neuropsychology.
Nice.
So
Congrats.
I just completed it yesterday. It was crazy. Thank you, bro. And I haven't talked much about neuropsychology because I have to complete it first before I can really coach on that. But that's a part of the neuropsychology. And what people don't realize, we have certain vices and stuff due to a belief system that we believe. And then we feel like that is going to kind of give us like the superpower, right? Like
Yeah.
it made us feel looser. It's allowing us to feel a little bit better about that situation. But that's actually connected to something else that happened in the past that allowed you to think that that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then you continued to do that thinking. That mechanism is what helped. So I hope that helps other people that are listening, because that could be from smoking cigarettes, chewing tobacco, eating donuts, literally anything. It could be as simple as drinking a certain soda. Like
Yeah.
you feel a reward based off that, and that's actual a brain science behind it. So it's wild, dude. But I'm sure you don't do that as much anymore, do you?
No, not as much. Not as much. I'll
Do you
have
know
a couple
why?
of drinks here and there, but do I know why?
Mm-hmm.
Not really, honestly.
And tell me if I'm wrong.
Repetition got better. I don't know.
Tell me if I'm wrong if I say this to you, yes or no on it, right?
Sure.
So once you got over the fact that you're like, all right, I'm getting a little better at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your belief system started switching. So then you started going, well, I am getting better at this. So your dialogue internally started going, well, I don't really need to drink for that. And then your dialogue probably started going to, well, if I start drinking, even though I don't need to, what do I sound like when I'm drinking? These are the stories we're playing in our minds that we don't say out loud until someone talks about it. Isn't that wild?
That's very true.
Do you feel like that's kind of somewhat correct of like what happened for you? It started shifting and you stared buying into this new identity.
Oh, yeah.
This new shift?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So that's what that is. So what you did was, it's called neuroplasticity. So it actually changed the wiring of your brain. So you created a new pathway and now you bought into a new system. Isn't that wild? So the fact that you did that on that one thing, imagine what you can do in all things in your life.
Dude, there's a couple of them. There's a couple of them, bro. I mean, even when I'm dealing with painters, right, and they have these limited mindsets, I don't know how to get around some of them because they're so stuck in their ways. They're telling themselves certain things.
Yeah.
This is a perfect situation, right? I had a guy who came on our free Thursday school coaching that we do. Anybody's invited. If you're a part of
Yeah.
our free school, you can join.
Nice.
And I go on and I just help guys. We talk shop, whatever. And the guy said, "Hey, I'm spending an hour and a half on some of these estimates, and I'm not even talking to the customer. I'm just getting the measurements and like writing it up." And he's like, I'm getting to the point where they're telling me to get away from their house, right? It's like he's been here an hour, but it's because his process isn't dialed in,
Yeah.
right? But he continues to do the same thing, going estimate after estimate, and these exteriors take forever. Yes, they're big homes, but it's like, how big could an hour and a half take, right? So I know his process is messed up. So he's like, Aiden, I'm spending all this time and I'm losing thousands and thousands of dollars in deals. And I said, so what's a couple grand for you to fix that entire process and make all that money? And he
Yeah.
didn't. It didn't register in his brain, right? It was kind of like, well, I don't know if there's a thing out there that would help me. He was so stuck on what he was doing, even though I'm the guy, right? Literally on the call with the guy.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
And
what?
we're still battling, going back and forth. And I just couldn't understand what I was like talking to him about and why he couldn't understand that.
Did you? So that, man, I'm getting like all psychological on here, but we call that, you want to interrupt their pattern, right? So when you interrupt their pattern, the perfect thing that I do with this is I ask them. So I go, "Do you believe that?" And I stop them in their tracks and I ask them, "Do you believe that you can't get better with your process?" And then see what he says and watch his body language. More than
Mm.
likely, he's going to be like, "Well, I'm sure there's something better out there." Well, what if I told you there is? Do you believe that? First, you need the commitment. And then if
Mm-hmm.
they say yes, okay, what's holding you back from getting that? Because they don't even know. And when
Right.
you do ask that, then it starts to process and they go, "It's just me." Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm literally talking to you right now. So what else is holding you back? And when they start to realize it's just excuses that they're building, again, it's that internal dialogue that they're creating. Our jobs is to get rid of that internal dialogue and rewire a new one. Um, but it's not as easy as said and done, right? But sometimes the call out interrupts their mind and they start to go,
Yeah.
"What am I thinking about?" And try it, dude. Like next time someone gets on your call and does
Yeah.
that, interrupt them, dude. Like interrupt their pattern. Be like, "You believe that? Do you believe that?" And
I
watch
tell
what
you
they.
what, man, that's I need a little bit more concrete ways of going about that. Because
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, I'm just so flustered with what he's saying and how he's saying it that it's making
Mm,
me like, all right, dude. I'm almost like sick of what he's saying. I'm
yeah,
like, dude, like I could go through this whole estimate, but that's not going to help you. It's going to be a temporary band-aid. It's
yeah,
not going to solve anything.
yeah.
And for me, I am not worried about fixing his mental. I'm more like trying to get the logical answer and give him an answer where I need to kind of
Mm.
maybe slow it down and get to his root cause a little bit better. So, yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
sure. That's
I'm
great
gonna drop a
advice.
little exercise for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, so logic cannot become logic if your mind is aroused. What that means is if you're in a high state of stress. So for him, his belief system stressful. There is no logic.
Mm,
So what you're wanting to do is, I get you because you're very analytical.
yeah.
Like the way I know who you are, you're an analytic person and you're really specific on do XYZ, you get this sum of this. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right? Not everybody operates that way. So when they're stressed here, our job is to get rid of the stress first and then bring the logic back up.
Mm,
And they're not able to do that, unfortunately. So what I do is I like to interrupt the pattern and then I confuse them because everything they're saying doesn't make any sense. So
mm-hmm.
when you confuse them, that pattern now goes away. And then you go, "Okay, so do you believe that?" And if they do believe it still, you can't help someone that has a belief system that's against what you're going to teach them.
Right.
So then right there in that moment, you can't help that individual, no matter what you tell them or show
Mm-hmm.
them literally. So that's a little hack. It's a brain hack, right? This is why I keep saying mindset coach, right? Like
It's important.
it's super important, bro. It's super
Yeah.
important. And that's why I love what you said earlier too about like separation, stuff like that. That's why I separate what I do because, and if you notice, the content I'm pushing more is more mindset now.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing contractors so much. It's mindset that I'm pushing. And then, guys, those of you that are listening, I'm telling you, it's like having the Avengers of coaching. Come to me for your mindset. Go to Aiden for process. Like, put us together. You will have the perfect match of your success. And I'm not saying anything about your mindset or anything, Aiden. I just know what I'm passionate about and what I'm best at. Yes, I have SOPs and processes and systems. I don't care for those things. I care about breaking your mind, reconstructing it so that you can see success with the SOPs that you're putting in place. So it's like we are the Avengers of coaching. I promise you guys, you put Aiden and I together. This is and I'm not saying this out of you and I. This is what I'm hearing from our mutual clients. They're literally like, dude, Aiden dialed me in, dude. Like my numbers, my the way, dude. When I saw Caesar with his wheel outside, I'm like, I don't even measure, right? Homie was like beep beep beep, like just with confidence with his wheel, his iPad, and he's like, check this out, boom boom boom. I was like, dude, that is huge because he had so much confidence in what you built with him on his program.
Yeah.
All I needed to do was tweak the mind. You put those two together, it was like, boom, he closed it on the spot. He keeps closing stuff on the spot because he's like, I'm confident in how I got there.
Yeah.
And I'm confident in how I feel. You put those two together, dude, you can't get stopped, man. I'm telling you. Sorry, I'm getting excited because it's like,
no, so true. You can't be a dog without both, right? And you're only limiting yourself without both in reality.
100%.
And you don't have to go to me. You don't even have to go to Joel. You need to just get these things dialed in.
100%.
Regardless of how you do it, right? Like we respect all the other coaches and all the other programs, whatever you want to go through. As long as you are going through the motions of getting better and dialing these things in, that's what we care about. And if we are the, trampoline for you to jump and get to that point by listening to this podcast and dial and like kind of soaking up what we're giving you, that's what we do it for. And that's what matters.
100%. 100%. Yeah, man. But that's the recipe. Get the mind right. Get the SOPs. Wherever you get that, who cares? Go to Google, ChatGPT it, whatever.
ChatGPT.
Like, just get it. Yeah, man.
All right, cool, man. Well, you want to end on a quote?
Yeah, man. Always, always. Let's see here. I like to change it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what I got here. I'm going to pull up one that I've done recently. And this one is important. So let me get this. It's on my threads. Have you been using threads lately, dude?
No.
Bro, get on it, man. It's almost like your own personal diary, almost like just posting like just content of like what you're feeling. And I really like it. Yeah, it's kind of like Twitter. Yeah.
It's Twitter.
Obviously, it's attached to your Instagram. So like you put it in your threads.
I think it's checked when I do actually upload stuff.
Yeah, I think if you put a post, like a regular post, it'll automatically put it to your threads. I just feel like it's underutilized right now. That's another thing. If you start posting on that, I think will really bring you some good stuff. But since we're talking about confidence, I'm going to end it with this. You don't become confident by accident. You train for it. You breathe into it. You focus on it until it becomes who you are.
Hit me with that one more time.
Yes, sir. So it says, you don't become confident by accident. You train for it. You breathe into it. You focus on it until it becomes who you are.
Damn. Enjoy the journey. Work every day. That's what just spoke to me, right? And it's like the confidence, it will come.
Always.
The proof will come. Put in the work. You won't have to fake it till you make it a day in your life.
Facts.
Boom.
It's on a day-to-day basis.
We'll end it on that. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Always always comment, share our stuff, influence all your friends to come on and listen to what we got going on because we're giving insane value. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Let's go.